So it makes sense to go after her, someone that a jury found he assaulted for $7 million, but it doesn't bother you that he is putting hundreds of millions of dollars in his kids' pockets. That does not deserve investigation.
What pocket is this
But
now?
the lady who was attacked in the room does.
Hey everybody, welcome back in. So glad you're here today. So this one's a real treat because we've got a sit down where the host goes toe-to-toe with Bill O'Reilly on the stuff people actually feel at home. The gas prices, the healthcare promises that quietly disappeared, and the question of who this economy is really working for. And just when O'Reilly thinks he's got the upper hand, the conversation turns to the courts and the Justice Department, and that is where the whole thing gets tense fast. Trust me, you do not want to click away early on this one, because the back half is where it completely flips, and the final exchange is the kind of moment you'll want to rewind. Before we get rolling, drop a comment and let me know what city or country you're tuning in from. I genuinely love seeing how far this channel reaches. Alright, enough from me, let's get straight into it.
I look at what's happening with the domestic agenda, and the two best ideas, my opinion, that came out of the president's mouth evaporated. I want to know why. When he said, these credit card rates, they're way too high. These people are making plenty of money if they cap them at 10, 11%. I'm going to get on that. 3 days later, it evaporated. Then he said, I'm calling in the healthcare bigs, and they'll listen to me when I call them. And I'm going to bring them in, and I'm going to say, look, you're making too much money, all right? And we're going to change it with or without you. Do you want to be part of it or not? Two best things he said. Both of them evaporated. Why?
I don't know why, and you can add a third. Insurance premiums, not health-related. Your house, your car, all of that.
Sure.
There is
skyrocketing.
There is profiteering going on, there's no doubt. The gas companies are profiteering by selling American oil overseas. Most Americans don't know that. I mean, we're exporting even now as our prices have doubled. We're selling overseas. And quarter by quarter, if you look at BP and the others, they're just making money like crazy. Now, the federal government historically does not intrude on private business, capitalism. Teddy Roosevelt did, and it's what made Teddy's legacy. And I don't know why President Trump hasn't put this on the top shelf. I don't know. I do know that Iran is all-consuming for him at this point. He's trying to save his legacy by breaking that country.
If I were he, two ideas. One, he's not going after these guys because these are the guys who fund the system. It's true on both sides. He just happens to be in power right now, and we've never seen it as obvious as this before. But there's only one reason that you say you're going to take people on and then you don't. It's because someone tells you you can't, and you listen.
I don't buy that. I mean, Trump's a marauder. If somebody tells him he can, he's more likely to do it. He's got a lot of things that are taking up his attention. If some of them are not necessary, like the fund to pay people and all that, I knew that was going to go away on day one. So I can't really ascribe a motive that somebody got to Donald Trump. I've never seen that happen. He does what he wants to do. He goes against his advisors. Sometimes, Cuomo, and this will shock you, he doesn't even listen to me. How could that possibly happen?
I don't know, but maybe he's smarter than I thought he was.
Okay, but I said early on, you got to get those insurance companies in line because they're just gutting the working person. And the working person...
I mean, look, we're not the only ones who know this, Bill. So it's got to be something else, because they are desperate, right, to kind of throw stuff up against the wall to prove to people that they're doing things for him. And then he puts out a tweet, or whatever you call it, on Truth Social, where he tells you the truth. I'm 38-0. I'm getting rid of these comedians. I'm getting rid of these pundits. I'm so proud to be working for you. That's what he thinks working for the American people is settling political scores.
He's a culture
that are only
warrior.
really meaningful to him.
He's a culture warrior, there's no doubt about it.
This is the part everybody at home should be paying attention to. The host points out that the two best ideas this president ever floated, capping those insane credit card rates and dragging the healthcare executives into a room, both just vanished. He said both of them evaporated, and he wants to know why. And here's what people do not realize. Those were not small promises. Those were the exact things working families were actually waiting on. And the second they got close to costing somebody powerful real money, they were gone. That tells you who this agenda is really built for. And then Bill O'Reilly, of all people, says the quiet part out loud. He admits the gas companies are profiteering by selling American oil overseas while the price you pay at the pump stays high. Sit with that. A conservative voice is openly acknowledging that you are getting squeezed on purpose. Nobody at the top is fixing it because nobody at the top wants to. But the line that really got me is when the host nails the real reason. He said there is only one reason you announce you are going to take powerful people on and then you suddenly do not. And it is because someone tells you that you cannot. That is the whole game right there. The tough talk is for the cameras. The backing down is for the donors. And it gets worse because the host points out that instead of fixing any of it, the president puts out a post bragging about going after comedians and pundits and acts like that is working for the American people. Settling personal scores while your grocery bill climbs. You have to understand this is not leadership. This is a man protecting an image while the people who believed him get nothing.
And those are easy to understand issues that resonate with people. So as a populist, he's going to go for those, but I think he can do both. And I'd like to see him take on the big, and I think you will see it because he knows, the Republicans know as well, that they're going to have to give the American worker and voter some relief. And it's going to have to be concrete relief because our economy is pretty good, particularly with these refunds coming back out of the big, beautiful bill, and then you've got full employment, their jobs are plentiful, and inflation here is only 3.8%. So the economy's good, but people don't live or die by numbers. They live or die by what they're putting in their car. And so the Republican Party knows that, and I suspect we're going to see more
gas and groceries.
Right?
Gas and groceries. It is a K-shaped economy. The investor class is doing well. The wage working class is struggling. And you have to make a choice about which side you want to benefit. So far, the president's choice, I think, is going to work against him in the midterm. I have breaking news that I want your quick comment on.
Okay.
The White House has just put out that they will officially move on the nomination of Todd Blanche for Attorney General. Doing that right now with the slush fund stuff that he has been forced to own, do you think he's setting him up to lose in the Senate?
No, I think he is being rewarded for doing something that potentially was going to hurt Donald Trump. And Blanche backed him off it. Look, Blanche's a tough guy. That's what you need in this job. You don't need Merrick Garland in the job. I like Pam Bondi, but you don't need Pam Bondi, okay? You need a real tough hombre in there to stop the madness. And the madness is on display in California, and which is why when you talk to Hilton, the reason that Hilton's even competitive is because of the drug addiction, the crime out of control, the filth, the dirt, the disorder. That's why Steve Hilton is in play. And Blanche is part of that movement. We're going to clean it up. And Trump likes tough guys. That's what he likes them. And that's why Blanche.
Yeah, he likes it as long as they're not tough to him. But how can Blanche be seen as cleaning it up when he's okay with what the DOJ is doing and settling all these scores and going after E. Jean Carroll and practicing lawfare and trying to defend the slush fund? Who's he being tough for?
Listen, the E. Jean Carroll fraud should be prosecuted. That is the most outrageous story. I've been doing it on BillO'Reilly.com all week. It's so outrageous that the woman testifies in a deposition under oath that nobody is helping her, no lawyer is helping her, no pro bono. And then we find out she got $7 million from a
What does that have to do with what happened in the changing room in Macy's?
Because nobody knows what happened in the changing room. That's
She knows.
And here is the moment the whole conversation flips. The host cuts through the happy numbers and calls it what it is, a K-shaped economy. The investor class is doing great, and the wage-working class is struggling. This is the part that blows my mind, because you can have full employment and a strong stock market on paper and still have millions of people who cannot afford to live. Both things are true at once, and only one of them ever shows up in the talking points. Then the host makes a prediction I think is dead on. He says the president's choice of which side to benefit is going to work against them in the midterms. And honestly, you can already feel that. People do not vote based on a chart. They vote based on what is in their cart. Now let me give you a little history, because it matters. They bring up Teddy Roosevelt in this exchange. Roosevelt actually did go after the giant corporate trusts in the early 1900s, breaking up monopolies that were crushing ordinary people, and it became one of the defining legacies of his presidency. That is documented fact. So the excuse that a president simply cannot interfere with big business falls apart because one of the most celebrated presidents in history did exactly that. And watch how Bill O'Reilly responds to all of it. He says you need a real tough guy in there to stop the madness, and the madness is on display in California. See what happened? The conversation about your wallet got swapped out for a culture war talking point, and then the host refuses to let it slide. He asks Bill point blank if he is okay with the Justice Department settling scores and going after a private citizen, calling it lawfare. That question is the trap closing.
And the jury thinks they know.
If you're gonna do that, then I can't help you. What I can say is
do what?
Legitimate.
Respect the administration and
no,
justice?
believe that woman. Why would you believe that woman when she doesn't even know what year it was?
The jury listened to it and believed her.
It's a New York City jury. Okay, they hate Trump from day
Look,
one.
you either respect the justice system or you don't.
Well, I don't respect that verdict, and I believe that Ms. Carroll committed crimes. And I'm happy the Justice Department is going after her because she flat out lied about who was funding this lawsuit. $7 million? And she does, and she, and you know what a lawyer said?
So you're in high
dudgeon. Her memory's
dudgeon.
Refreshed now. Yeah.
You're in high, first of all, nobody. Hey, have you ever read through the depositions of Donald Trump?
Okay.
And what he has said in depositions?
Why are we on Donald Trump's deposition when we're talking about
Because your standard is polenta.
No,
it is a mushy standard.
My standard is what makes sense. That's my standard.
So it makes sense to go after her, someone that a jury found he assaulted for $7 million, but it doesn't bother you that he is putting hundreds of millions of dollars in his kids' pockets. That does not deserve investigation.
What pocket is this
But
now?
the lady who was attacked in the room does.
What pocket is this that he's putting? What are you talking about?
His sons have acquired interests in multiple businesses that benefit from government contracts in areas they have no clue what they're doing.
Okay.
They've never been in the business before.
I believe that
they
the
have no
Trump
experience
organization is apart from him. And if they're doing something illegal...
His sons? Come on, I'm just saying, it doesn't bother you, Bill. You'll explain it away.
I don't know how we got
because it's defending him, that's all.
How
and you're saying, what does this have to do with E. Jean Carroll? It's corruption. If you care about corruption in one place, you care about it everywhere.
You mentioned Carroll, and it was corrupt. It's one of the biggest corrupt things I've ever seen. And you're throwing out stuff against the Trump sons that has not been adjudicated at all. That's what you're doing. You're convicting them right on your program. No, you're convicting them.
And you said you don't believe what was adjudicated. So something is adjudicated. You say you don't accept it. But now you're saying they're being wrongfully alleged.
There's going to be a prosecution. There's going to be. I'll predict it right here.
We'll watch. We'll watch. I got to jump. But, Bill, I appreciate you making...
And here it is. This is the moment the mask comes all the way off. The host reminds Bill that a New York jury actually heard the evidence and reached a verdict, and then asks him the simplest question in the world. Do you respect the justice system or you do not? And Bill O'Reilly looks right at him and says, I do not respect that verdict. Stop. Think about what just happened. A man who built his entire career talking about law and order just admitted on camera that he only respects the courts when they rule the way he wants. That is the whole double standard in one sentence. The system is sacred when it is convenient, and a fraud the second it is not. And the host does not let him breathe. He lays it out perfectly. It makes sense to you to go after the woman a jury already found him liable to for $7 million, but it does not bother you that he is putting hundreds of millions of dollars into his kids' pockets. And this is the part people need to sit with. One of those is a person who went through the courts and won. The other is a real concern about public money flowing straight to a family. And Bill is outraged about the wrong one. Then comes the line that says everything. When pushed on the kids cashing in on government-connected business, Bill O'Reilly actually says he believes they have a pure heart. A pure heart. That is not an argument. That is a fan defending his guy. When you have no facts left, you reach for feelings. And that is exactly what happened here. And here's what I want you to take away. The host stayed calm, stayed on the facts, and just kept asking the same fair question until the defense fell apart into I do not respect that verdict, and they have a pure heart. That is what actually winning an argument looks like, not yelling, just refusing to let someone dodge. So what do you guys think of this? Leave your thoughts down in the comments, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.